day headed your way. Keep your head up. You'll be okay. A beautiful day waiting for you. Just open your eyes, you'll see it's true. Good times, sunshine, gonna be here in no time now. Bad times, gray skies, push them all away, turn them upside down. You're gonna break new ground, turn everything around. You're gonna live your life. There's a beautiful...
Alright, welcome back to the Booga Box live stream. It is Thursday, so we're on large project night. This isn't a super large project. We're going to work on another inlay. This is going to be a treble clef. This is actually the first inlay I ever did, was this, and I gave it to my daughter. And then after that point, I used to take it with me to events to show off. And I've had a few custom orders since then, but I figured might as well go ahead and make up a couple more. So I'm actually going to make up 2 of these. I'll probably work this one tonight, finish it up, and then start on the other one, and we'll finish it up next Thursday. While I'm still waiting on my other supplies. Yeah, I still have not gotten an email back yet from them, so we're just going to continue with what we can and continue working. So thank you all again for stopping in. If you're joining us tonight or watching us later, good to have anybody show up and whatnot. So I'm just going to kind of get on into it here, start working it up. I'm going to use dark rose as my background color, and I'm going to use frost as my the treble clef inlay itself. It's just basically a 2-color inlay, so you know, it's not very big either. I think it's roughly 4.5 to 5 inches wide by the time it's hanging. I want to say about 13 to 14 tall. It's basically 19 rings wide by 48 rings tall, I believe. Yeah. So it's not really huge, and that's why I kind of would like to have it hanging, you know, so that people can see smaller inlays, and you know, cheaper price point than if you want a giant inlay. It takes forever. These take me about four hours, and overall about 1,000 rings by the time I'm done with the hanger part of it too, counting those rings in, because this is like just over 900 in the basic inlay, and then I'll use another 100 or so for the hanger part. So that's what we're going to work on tonight. Like I said, we'll get more done on it afterwards and over the weekend, and I'll get started on the other one probably before Monday, and try to get to a point that we can finish it up on next Thursday. Hopefully I might have my other stuff. I'm actually wanting to do the checkerboard, is what I planned on doing on Thursday nights. And I went and was looking at my wire, and I thought I had the wire I needed. I had a 5-pound spool of what I thought I had was bronze, and that's what I was wanting to do it out of. And I got looking closer at it, it's copper. So I was like, I could use it, but I really wanted it to be bronze, so that's why I made my order. We're going on, what, 14 days now? 14 days? Still haven't gotten an email back yet. Still nowhere near shipping, so that's really, I mean, I got a lot of other stuff in this order too for a few other things that I want to do, but that's what I've been waiting for. Is I'm going to coil and cut my own rings for this chessboard. Basically the same layout as a checkerboard, which I've done a couple times already. So I figure while we wait, that'll give me a good chance to get in here and get this one done and see how everything goes. What is that? Oh, that's right. Alright, I thought I had something already screwed up. It's like I counted these out earlier, so I had them ready for tonight. And then, like I said, this will go a lot quicker. Definitely a lot smaller than the Mahomes inlay by quite a bit. About 10 times smaller. Since it used about 10,000 rings, and this will be about 1,000, so Make sure everything is going okay. Seems to be. I am kind of testing out another little camera I got today. I don't know the quality of it. That's one reason why I kind of wanted to test it and figured might as well just throw it on a stream, see what happens, and then decide if that's where I want to keep it. And if I do decide to keep using it, I'm going to print me up a 3D printed mount for it so I can mount it up on the thing, and that'll kind of, right now it's kind of poking out in the way, and that's why I didn't want to put a camera there to begin with for larger projects. But if it works out and I like the quality, I'll make a mount for it and we'll mount it up on the pegboard behind the that's attached to the back of the desktop here, the bench top, whatever you want to call it. And then it'll pretty much be out of the way for the most part. So we're just testing that tonight. You have to let me know if I think there's too much stuff here. I know I keep adding more to it, but you know, I kind of want to give cool things to it. I'm eventually, if I get it all to work out right, I'd like to have it so I can flip back over there. Oh, I took from that top row by accident, because I did lay out 3 rows already. I kept wanting to work on it. It's like, no, I gotta save it. I want to get more of the start on the stream than having it part way through, which I probably just could have, but I was like, no, we'll just wait. I did work on a few more of the keychains before I put all that up earlier today, and I ended up welding up the rest of that one that I was working on last night, and it's welded up. It's actually in the tumbler now, so figured get it all cleaned up, and then I'll get some pictures of everything on that. I'm probably still going to do some more too, but I'm going to wait till I get this inlay done. And since it's kind of a small, short inlay, you know, I will more than likely be done with it by tomorrow night. If I get in my normal time on projects like I normally do, that's kind of the plan, is to be done by tomorrow night. Another reason why I put that on there, I was going to try to do a test stream Saturday to see if this camera would work okay, but it's like, we'll just do it tonight, then I won't have to worry about trying to do a test stream. And those have been kind of a pain to get working sometimes. So that's what we're doing tonight. Monday we'll probably start working on the bow tie. I need to pull out my notes on that and see how long it took for the other one. It's going to be slightly different with this one that I'm currently going to do, but fairly close in style. You know, kind of the same style, just going to work it up differently. Last one was just silver and black stretchy. I don't know if I want to go stretchy with it yet still, or do I want to just go all metal. That's one thing I'm still kind of debating. The stretchy works good for the bow tie, more like it's in the shape of a bow tie, but not actually kind of puffy. And then what I'm planning on working on is going to be more of a real bow tie. It's folded around and everything, so it's got some 3D effect to it. So I'm still debating on that. It's about like everything I debate on and debate, change my mind 300 or 400 times before I get there. But the other one, I'm not sure exactly what color I'm going to do the other treble clef in yet. I kind of went with these two because I had a little bit of extra dark rose, plenty enough to do it. So I was like, well, we'll just go ahead and do it. And dark rose and frost. The other one, I need to kind of check my supplies and see what I have. Actually, a little more color of mostly, just so you know, I go with the. Use that since it doesn't take a lot. I normally would have enough for any of these for the most part, but just double checking my graphic real quick. It has been a while since I've done this. I could almost do it without needing my little charts or anything, but I figure, you know, might as well use the chart and make sure it's right the first time. And hopefully, you know, with this other camera sitting here, even though I wasn't recording earlier with it when I was playing around, I did seem to stay more in the middle of my paper cognitively because of seeing this camera sitting right above me, or, you know, just right here. So, I don't know, maybe that'll help me keep more in the center of my everything. All just that little bit of things in the background and things that just kind of make your brain think differently, I guess. Subconsciously knowing there's a camera right there, that's where I need to be. Which could help if I do end up throwing together some tutorials. I thought about doing some basic open weaves, open source weaves, and kind of show you how I do them. Everybody, you know, does everything a little bit differently. Sometimes, you know, I've gotten little tricks that I now do on some of my weaves that I've gotten by watching other people. I mean, even though I know how to do these weaves, if I see a new YouTube video of somebody, or Facebook, or wherever, that somebody's made up of chainmail something or other, I'll end up watching it, even if it's something I already know how to do. Because sometimes you might catch a little something from that, or even other times while they're talking about other things while they're working on stuff, you might pick up a few little things here and there. There's been many things through the years of watching other people work that, you know, they're talking about to the side, and it's like, hey, I could try to do that with this and whatnot. Even if it's just a setup or plier usage or whatnot, you know. That's like Jennifer and Martinez and Sean White. I know he does. They hold their pliers and mail a little bit differently than I do. And I've tried it, and it's actually not too bad. I think it depends on what you're working with. I don't, you know, if I got used to it and did it more and more and more, I might like it and use it more often, but that's the little things, you know, and I do use that technique on some weaves in certain areas because of how the weave is. And to compensate for that, I used to hold my pliers really, really weird. And I was like, no, this technique, you know, I don't have to hold them all kinds of craziness. So I'll use that technique in certain situations, I guess I should say. So that's the little things, you know. And like I said, if I did it more often and got more used to it, I might like it better. I guess it is less straining. And in a way, yeah, it is. I think more just once your muscles get used to it, you'll have less strain for sure. I was having a little strain just when I was trying it. I tried it for a couple full pieces, and I was just having issues, minor issues, and I think it was all just my brain issues. You know how the brain can play tricks on you, right? It was like I can't see what I'm working on, it seemed like. You know, it's like I can see perfectly fine, but my brain's just seeing my hand at a different angle. Just like this camera being here, you know, it kind of makes your brain do weird things. So I'd hope everybody's having a good week. Again, nothing a whole lot today went on since last night. Just working up stuff, got all the welding done. Still haven't figured out a perfect spot yet for my welder, though I do have a couple brackets and shelf things coming along that I'm hoping I can use to put it in a place that can just stay there. Yeah, that's the ultimate goal. So I can use it more often. I'd be glad to use it more often. Like I said, there's been many things I've been wanting to use the welder for, but I'll end up putting them off just because it's like, well, if I pull it out, I only got, you know, a day or two to be able to do something before I'm going to have to move it to start on this. You know, and that's kind of a bummer in a way when that happens, because then I just end up not doing that project. And so I'm hoping it'll kind of put it up and give me some more time and a lot easier to work on different projects that I can do the welding with, because I'm going to get some more silver. But right now I've got titanium and a bunch of stainless steel that I want to do it with, and you don't have to weld them, but the only thing with titanium and niobium, if you're gonna weld it, you kind of have to do your coloring afterwards. So it needs to be a piece where you're not having a mix of colors per ring. It needs to be more of a solid or a mix just throughout the piece itself instead. So I'm still debating on that too. But I got to get out the vinyl cutter because I'm going to cut up some stencils for my large titanium scales and get some anodizing of those done. When I do start that though, I do plan on putting it on one of the project nights here on a stream, more than likely on a Monday, because there would be a little bit of time to go through to do all that. And you know, it'd be one night I'd do some etching and show you the anodizing of it, and next week I'd put it into a project, you know. But most of these are going to be like earrings, focal points of it hanging off a necklace and whatnot like that. So it'll be a little different. It's one of those things like, do I want to add another night to streaming? But I am going to start getting busy on my weekends, so I really don't want to do a weekend stream. If I got events going on, even though I might still stream from an event at some point in time. Just kind of depends. I've never done it before, but I've never done streaming before, so we'll see how that all works by the time we get there, right? So that was line 6, right? 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're on to the next row here. I need 5 of these. Now I'll start counting out my rings again, but only 2 colors. I'll just kind of pull out the few that I need and do them up and grab the next. Less counting involved. I could put in stopper rings, but it's not really all that wide enough. Like I said, if I go over 20, then I might want to count them. Under 20, I'd rather just put in stopper rings. And this whole thing is under 20 wide, so do I want to take the time to put in stopper rings, or just count out the few that I need and just do it? And that's what I figured I'd do. Figured it'd be a little quicker that way. For stream anyway, like I said, if I wasn't streaming, everything goes a little faster as is, because I'll pull this piece up more into my belly area so I can work on it quicker and see everything easier. There's 5 and then 2, 2. 2 of those, and then 2 of these. And it's not a super detailed treble clef, but it's pretty decent. It was actually, when I was learning inlay, I come across it, and I was like, you know, I do like to do the music stuff because I was in band, kids were in band, blah 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 blah. So I was like, that'd be a good thing to kind of try and see if I'm going to even like doing inlays, and it's what kind of hooked me. And then I did the Punisher one that was definitely more detailed, a lot more rings, and I used 20 gauge 1/8 inch rings for that. It was a tiny thing, and I was like, well, that was cool too. And I just keep doing more and more. Do enjoy doing them. Just you don't do a whole lot because they're time consuming, and you know, as a business you want to sell stuff, and it definitely takes a lot longer to sell inlays just because of them being inlays. Okay, 3 and then finish off in pink. But you definitely get the idea once this is done. You can definitely tell it's a treble clef. Daughter loved hers. Like I said, when I was taking hers to events, I had several people that wanted to buy it. I was like, no, this is just kind of the showpiece. I can custom make it and colors that you want. And I've had a couple orders, like I said, for it. But I know I could have sold some more if I would have had them on hand. Because, you know, people at events, they're a little cautious about, you know, ordering something they're going to have to wait on. especially when you want, a deposit on it, because you gotta order everything. So I always put 50% deposit on anything large orders like this. So, so once I order the supplies, I don't do a refund, but I'd be willing to refund up till the time of ordering supplies. But and then these don't take very long, so they never have to wait but a week unless I have to order supplies if I don't have enough. Like I said, I normally have enough on hand where I could make one at any given time in most of my colors, but not all the time. I try to keep about 1,000 rings of every color and every size, so you can just imagine that adds up pretty quickly. I mean, at any given time I've got just anodized aluminum, I've probably got 40,000-50,000 rings, but between all the different colors and all the different sizes, I've really never added it up. Actually, if I added it up, I'm probably got twice that many, now that I think about it. And that's not counting the things that I make myself out of other material, stainless, aluminum, or just bright aluminum, not anodized. So, still looking to get a name for the duck and Nana. Let's pull him out here. Can we set him up out here? Quack quack. Nana Nana. I did bring out my little tube guy last night for a little bit, for a few seconds anyway. His name is Timmy. I don't know why I didn't even say that last night, but yeah, I named the tube guy Timmy. Timmy the tube guy. But this guy, I'm still looking for a name. Nothing's quite hit me yet that I currently like. So if you got a name you think he would look good with, just drop me a note and we'll get a name attached to him. I put tube guy up today. Timmy the tube guy. I put him up earlier, or I would have plopped him back out again. So it's like I could pull him out too, but then I was like, oh yeah, put him up. Because I am trying to get stuff ready for our first event in 1.5 years, which will be a little weird. I'm a little nervous about being so long and getting back out there doing them, but I have a love-hate relationship with events. I like doing them in a way, in other ways I don't, so. So more when you're at events, but they can be tiresome days sometimes. And then if they're multi-day events, I like those in a way too, but leaving your stuff there, and you can pack up everything and take it, but then you got that set up and take down time to involve in that when you're doing multiple day events. So, and then it depends on where you're doing the event. It's inside or outside. Inside's a little different than if you're having an outside one. The dogs are over there going nuts again today. Alright, 3 and 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So this is line 8. So we started with 3 already, so we've done 5. I did the start part just because that normally you do that a little differently. You don't do the one at a time like I'm doing here. I normally make a strip of the horn one out of it, so I do pick it up as I'm moving them down the line just to make sure everything's right. If you screw up your start, you screw up everything below it, and I found that out the hard way on a couple different inlays. So I always try to double check all my starts anymore. Yeah, I'll have to watch this video later and see how this camera's doing. I don't know if it's got any lag or whatever it's sending. I'm not having any drop rates on the actual sending out part. It just depends on between the camera and the computer. If there's a lag, that'll show up. But I'm gonna have to go check on what the dogs are barking at. Make sure they're not out of their pen again. Neighbor's dog out of fence line. Yeah, seem to quiet it down now. We'll give him a minute and see what happens. 2 and 5. They didn't seem louder normally. I'll hear them being a lot louder out there when they're barking when they come running into our yard. It always seems to be the first place they go because we got dogs on both sides of us here, and the dogs like to bark back and forth at each other, so if any of them get out, they get into our yard, so they're right next to them, so they can bark even louder, freaking out the cats. But I mean, you know, I love all animals, so dogs, cats, whatever it might be. We've had dog before. It's just right now we've kind of been in the cat mode because cats kind of took us in for the most part, and we didn't take. I mean, we took them in, but, you know, that's who needed to be taken in at the time. So, cats it was. Eventually, maybe it might be a dog again, who knows. Though I have had cats most of my life. Grew up with cats, we didn't have dogs. My stepdad didn't like dogs too much, so we had cats. Always wanted dogs, so when I got older, I finally got a dog. Did him for a while, and then the cats kind of came around and kind of got stuck with the cats, and they kind of grew for a while. Not like we wanted them to, but it was like, you know, I hate seeing strays out there, especially when they're lovable little turds like the last couple we've had. We got 5. 1, 2, 3. Again, Buzz, and then his brother Boomer, and they were just both lovable little farts. And had to bring them in and let them know this is home now. And we've had a few other strays through the years come through. Some of them have taken off on their own, did their own thing again. They just didn't want to be house cats. Boomer, Buzz, they were willing to be somewhat house broken. They still like to go outside, but they also wanted their inside time. So the other ones that we've had around, they were like, no, I'm not an indoor cat. I'll try to do what I can, but you know, then they end up moving on down the line. Somebody might else taking them in, or who knows. So I am starting to move down my paper here, though. I can tell. I was up further when I started, so hopefully my cameras are coming out okay. Probably a little far away on that one now. I'm trying to move back up here. Trying not to get my head into view, though, too. So I didn't zoom in my up camera like I normally do. And it's not too bad, though. It's a little different now that I took the wide angle lens off of it, since I haven't had anything that I needed to use it with. I was like, oh, I'm just going to go ahead and pull it off for now. 1 and 4. Till I need it again, plus I need to clean it all. I actually need to clean all my cameras here in the next few weeks, because band camp does start back up. I got band camp starting the 24th, 25th, something like that. Week of the 20 lates. I know it's the week leading up to our first event on the 31st, so I'll have to get everything ready and prepared for that again, for the new season of marching. Don't know how many more years I'll be doing that. I wish I could keep doing it forever, but it's getting a little more difficult to get to everything. I mean, if I can start cutting down some of it, maybe it'll last a little longer. But I also do help run their Facebook, or not their Facebook, the their website for the band and for the parents' information and all that. And I've been doing that for about 11 years now. There was another guy that was doing it, and then his kid graduated, and they asked me if I'd want to take over, so I kind of took over. And two. Get back over there. Can't open the door. I forgot to close it. Maybe that's what happens. I forget to close it. They will find the time to come in at perfectness. So let me go close it real quick. Whoever came in, you're staying in. I'm not messing with the door 100 times. Oh. So where are we at anyway? Half an hour in. Not too bad. And just checking my other chat areas, see if anything's going on there. Not a whole lot tonight going on, but some nights you might have more people than others. Still looking to get to 300 likes on our Facebook page. Like I said, I want to do some giveaways once we get to 300. We start getting there, get a couple here and there, so. And I imagine that will start growing once we can get back to events, and I'll push that at events too. Get people that might not be mailers but want to watch. So if you do come here, you're not a mailer. I know Vicky comes in on occasion. She's not a mailer, just happened to come across mailing stuff and started watching. So you never know who you might find that likes to watch and do things, and maybe they can learn something. Like I said, if you're ever watching these and you got questions about chainmail, let me know. I'll answer what I can. If I can't, I'll give you information on where you can hopefully find that answer. And if I don't know it, then it's a learning experience for myself too. Heck, it was just last night that I had John in here. He comes in quite often to see my streams, and I'd known about RSD before and barrel, and I didn't realize adding a third one to it changes it to the keg weave. So I learned something last night myself. RSD was the single version of it, Rhino Snorting Dragons, and then I guess somebody, or maybe the same person, come along and added 2 into it and called it barrels. And another one came through and added a third one to it and became a keg. So I'm always learning too as I go. You should never stop learning no matter how old you are. Figure if I stop learning, that's when, I wouldn't want to continue. What would be the fun in not learning? No matter what it is. It could be chainmail, it could be, no matter what you're into, you should always keep learning on it. Learning and learning. So there's row 9. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What's the next one? 2? Yeah. So you can kind of start seeing it. Like I said, everything looks better once it's hanging too. But you'll get it. And there's a few parts a little thinner. Thought about redesigning and making my own treble clef. But my daughter wants me to actually make this bass clarinet treble clef mix. Found a graphic years ago and we've used it for the newer band things up till when she graduated. Looks like an S, so we use it in her name. And she wants me to do an inlay of it, and eventually I might. That can take a little bit of designing once you start getting a little more intricate and everything like that. It becomes larger and larger. Because I've made a few graphics that I want to do the inlay for, but they're just so large. I'm working on a super large one that's going to take many pieces to make one, but I've actually got a Mahomes picture that ended up being almost 50,000 rings alone for just the one Mahomes picture. It's got a lot more detail into it. But I mean, you're talking almost 200 hours worth of work. So for something that, you know, I mean, some of these large inlays I don't ever plan on necessarily selling, but for a single item, I figure when I'm done with this other one, it'll be large enough and it'll be a nice showpiece to show off. Maybe that's what I'll do this weekend, is try to get that music portion to work. John was telling me last night there's something on YouTube. I'd have to do a kind of add that into it without the video into the stream. I don't know if I can play it at the same time though. It's going to start taking up more bandwidth than I'm already using currently. 4 and 2. So I'll need to test that. If I go that route, it'd be nicer if I can just get something that I can just have to the side and it just plays, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. So, but I need to get a little something. I need some background something sometimes. Seems to help. Like I said, I'm so used to having something going while I'm chainmailing, and when I'm just sitting here talking, it's kind of strange. Even though I've been doing it for how long we've been streaming now? Probably at least 2-3 months. We were streaming heavily at first just because we were working on the cheese flag for poor Vicky, we was talking about earlier. I asked her if it would be okay if we did it in a stream, because that's kind of how she kind of got into watching it and wanted to do this. So I was like, I'd like to stream it for her. So that's why I kind of got into the streaming. And now I'm kind of digging it though. Like I said, it gives me a reason to chainmail. I mean, I didn't need a reason before, but this keeps it for sure, you know. Before, I'd work on stuff heavily for 3 or 4 days, then I might stop for 3 or 4 days. And in a way, that kind of still happens, because I do have to spend some time doing the internet work on the website, keeping Facebook updated, you know, and then just figuring out designs, what you want to do there. And I also run another couple websites. Like I said, I help out the band running their website. I've got a Boeing crunching website that I run for a team that I'm on. So I'm always busy doing something. And other people, you know, always asking me, can you help me update my website and do this or that? And, you know, I have a hard time saying no if it's something that I know I can do. If it's something I don't know I can do, I'm like, well, I can try to help, but I don't know it. But guess what? I'm willing to learn. So sometimes I'll learn new things by helping other people too. Marble, you're gonna have to wait, babe. I told you, you come in, you're gonna have to wait. So definitely, you know, by now we'd probably just be getting close near finishing up one row of the Mahomes inlay. If we were going good. And this is row 10. Didn't restart row 11 already. So we're getting close near 10 rows done in the stream, but at 19 wide, expected. Like I said, that's what I'm saying. This won't take me too long, about 4 hours or so. By the time I get the hanger on it and everything, maybe just over. And you can kind of start seeing the toppage there. Alright, so 5 and 2 for the next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2. Well, just check real quick here. See how it's going. What else? I'll tell you a weird thing today. I've had this email address for a minimum of 22 years. It's actually the first email I ever set up was on Excite back in 1999. The only reason, and it could have been a little before that, because the only way I could tell, I ended up going through my saved folder of items, emails that I had saved, and the earliest I could find was June of 1999. So I know I've had it at least that long, and it was probably a little bit before that, because looking at the saved email to what it was to, it was something then that I had already been online for a little while before that came up. So, but anyway, I went to log into it today, and they have a little thing. They're discontinuing their email service. I was like, oh, I have so much stuff attached to that email address. So I did have to spend, I probably spent a good 2 hours this morning, actually, while I was taking breaks from doing the chainmail for the keychains, and going through and checking all the emails. Who do I need to go get to their site so I can change my contact information, blah blah blah. So yeah, I'm still not even near done yet. There are some places that don't allow changing of email addresses, so I have to contact them, see if there's something else I can do, because I don't want to lose what's attached to my account that I've had for 10, 12, 15 years on some of those places that I'll lose. And they say you just need to create a new account, and it's like, well, what about everything that I've done? They're all I've got so much stuff attached to it. I had most of my websites attached to it. Had my trademark for the Booga box attached through there, so I got to change all that up. So yeah, it's been that kind of didn't really tick me off, but it's kind of just a pain. I mean, there was a few of those that I did want to change over to updated emails anyway. But then there was, alright Ducky, you're going to have to move, I keep hitting you. But there are some that I would have rather just stayed there, but now I have to move them, so yeah, that hasn't been a fun chore, that's for sure. Changing some of them up, it's just, I'm still waiting on an email back from 3 different places today. Even my drone's connected up to that account, so now to really throw things off, I got to get that going, because I don't do a ton of droning, but with band coming up, that's normally when I do more of my droning time. So, and just end with the background. So that will be coming up. So I need to get that going. Make sure gotta have something. So if I need to get sent out things for flying in restricted zones, etc. Have a lot less of that this year though, because the school is getting their own. They've always had their own football field, but it wasn't set up. There was no stands or anything. It was just kind of a big giant football field. And all the schools in the district used to go to one stadium to play their football games. There was 3 schools at the time. And they all 3 would share the one football field with a stadium. Kind of hard to believe when you think about it. Being in a big old city like Kansas City, you'd expect, But anyway, they built the newer high school. I guess it's about 11 years old now, maybe 12. So then the 4 schools would share the 2 fields. And this past year they passed some taxes, and so the 2 schools that didn't have home fields now have home fields. And that helps in a way, because the one field was down by our downtown airport, and so I was restricted and couldn't fly down there very easily. I had to go through all the rigmarole to get okayed, and when you fly at night, that gives you another issue of problems, because I don't want you to be droning at night. And now they'll be outside the restricted air zone, unless they're always changing air zone laws and the restrictions and all that. It seems like monthly that I'll have to go through. So, but hopefully I won't have a problem with it. 6 and 2. 2, 4, 5, 6, and 2. So hopefully it won't be too big of a problem this year, which will be nice, because there's some things I just couldn't get droned the last many years because of the restrictions that were in place. and be able to fly. You know, I had several years I didn't have that whenever my oldest was in school up here. It was outside of, and we're still close to KCI in a way, but we were still well without outside the zone of restriction. So I never had any problem when she was in band doing her band stuff. I got a lot of drone stuff during her years. But then when she graduated, and now I've just been working with my old school, I could go to their practices and do all that, but games I just couldn't do. Now granted, this last year there's a lot of other things going on, so it was hard just to get into games and whatnot. I had other parents that would give me their night at the stadium. You know, every parent got 2 tickets, and that was basically it. And there was always a parent willing to give up a ticket so I could get to it to get a video of them, which was nice. But, you know, it did have its limitations. So it'll be interesting this year how things will go. If we'll get back to full normal, or it's going to be half normal, or who knows yet. We'll see how that goes by the time we get there. Start of the season will be normal with band camps, because I'll just go up there during the day sometimes and get a, you know, run 3 or 4 batteries and get some practice footage. And I mean, last year I think I had probably 6-ish hours of band camp video. Took it down to, I think, 3 minutes worth of video. Now it was time lapse, so that kind of pushes things together a little bit more, but I get so much video I don't use just because I gotta be able to fit it onto a DVD at the end of the year. Alrighty, those 2, so we go 3-2. 1, 2, 3, and 2. Give me a quick look around here. Everything's going well. Yeah, I will say, since the computer reboot, I mean, granted it's only been 3 streams now, but my drop frame rates are like non-existent compared to what they were beforehand. Even though I've still got all the same software, you know, still just runs nicer when you got a fresh reboot on a system. It's nice to kind of have that. Haven't had any more blue screens lately. And I did have one, but that was before I got my NVIDIA, or however you pronounce, GPU driver. Instead of the one that kind of comes stock in Windows was crashing, but when I get to the one that I should be using, put it on, I haven't had any problems. So, and I put it through some tests that should kill it. And I'm going to 6. Look around. Just ending the pinks here. Dark rose, not pink. This is row 12. Finishing up row 12. So like I said, this one's going to be fairly quick. I mean, I do have 48 to go. So 12, 24. This will be a quarter done. And our little bit of stream, we're almost at 50 minutes. I will say, I think it took me about 13 minutes to get the first 3 rows there that I did together, so I do have to add that onto it, but actually supposed to have a couple nice days coming up. It's going to rain on those days, but the temperature's supposed to be nice and cool and getting down back into some 60s at night. That'll be nice. I'm tired of this, you know, 75 to 80s at night. You open up the door, you know, at midnight or 1 in the morning or something, and just a rush of hot air comes running at you. It's nighttime. It shouldn't be hot. I'm ready for winter. I am more of a winter guy. Late fall, early spring, I guess more. You give me those 45 or above days, not getting above 70 during the day, that's my weather. That's where I like it. After that, it gets a little too cold. You go down under 45. and I can still deal with it, but yeah, once you get over 75 for me, it's like, ugh, I hate over 75. But I will have that at the event coming up, I'm sure. We're normally in the 90s on this event in the end of July. Where am I at here? We're going backwards, so 6, over 6, and 2. Let's go those 2. Those are actually making a pretty decent contrasting color. I wasn't sure how bad it was going to be. Most of my others have been silver backgrounds with a main color in it. Blue, black, and a red. So they were kind of darker treble clefs themselves with a just silver background. I wanted to kind of mix it up this time. I could have done the silver again, but I had enough pink, and I was like, I just want to do some colored ones, you know, make something colorful. It's not going to be super colorful, but thought about trying to do like a rainbow background, but I was afraid it would take away too much of the... Since this inlay is kind of sparse in places, as is, I was afraid it was going to take too much away from it, and it was going to be harder to see it. I could be totally off, though, sometimes. You know, sometimes you think something's going to be one way, and then you go to try it, and it sometimes works better than you thought. Other times it works worse than you thought. So you just never know sometimes till you get in there and do it. I'm not sharing this to my personal page tonight. I guess I probably should have. I normally only do that once a week. I normally do it on Thursdays, but I did forget to do so tonight. But it is a smaller one, so... Alright, like I said, hopefully we'll finish up another one of these by next Thursday night. I'll know how many rows I can get done during the stream, like I do what I get done tonight. I'll kind of plan that in to leave that much to finish off Thursday. And then the following Thursday we'll cross fingers, knock on some wood, if, that is a big if, my wire comes in by then. 3 and 1. I mean, I sure hope it would be here by then, for sure. Now, I'd like it to be a little sooner so I can get it, you know, cut and coiled before then too, and then cleaned up. Obviously, got to run through the tumbler, all that. But I'll be ready to get it going on that. If I don't get them till it's late, we might end up doing the cut and coil on a stream instead. I mean, I guess that would be somewhat different. I've done that once, maybe twice. But maybe we do it again. I just don't like doing it too late. I mean, during my streams aren't too late for anybody in the house, but... You know, I just don't want to be... I can't be doing that at midnight until I get my garage. Then I could go out there at midnight and feel like making noise. I could. Not... I mean, I still gotta be careful of the neighborhood, but... And we just do the 7. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I hear you. She's crying. She wants out now. I told you you're gonna have to wait. When you came in, you gotta wait. This is row 13. Yeah. That means we got 10 done in an hour. About 10 minutes each row, which should be a lot quicker than that. I have talked a lot though, and I have gotten up a few times, so when I watch the video or later, I'll take the times and cut out all the parts where I'm not actually working on it and get a better idea of how much time I was actually spent working, not yammering. No, babe. You gotta wait. You need to learn. You guys know what time I do this stuff. You should know by now. Shortly after this, you get your soft foods. Fuzzy gets a shot. You know the deal. And don't try to tell me you don't, because I know you all do. Alrighty, so on to the next one. 6 and 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 2. Oh yeah, it's starting to come to the inner close. I guess I couldn't show the picture. I've got basically a generic picture. I didn't put them into colors. I did on there just so I could see it easier. But on my text version of it, I just kind of made a generic. So if I ever do it again, this, like I said, normally on my inlays, I don't like making the same inlay twice. Now when it comes to these smaller ones, that's a little different. And there'll be a handful like this. But when it comes to anything bigger than this, there'll be more, you know, if somebody wants something special, I won't make another one. That's, you know, that'll be their only one. Now this one is a little different because, again, it's not my design either. It was an open kind of design out there. And there are several little skulls and stuff that are like that too that I thought about doing, but and maybe I should make a few other smaller ones to have a little variety to add to events, you know, so people can see the variety. But now that I'm going to have my big Mahomes inlay and my Chiefs jersey, Mahomes jersey, you know, I think that's going to be nice drawers of people. I think people will see them and go, hey, let's go check that out. And that's what you need to kind of have to get people into the booth. And doesn't always make you a sale, but, you know, more people you can get in there, you never know. Some people pass by. I've actually had a few saying, yeah, I've seen your booth here earlier, but we didn't want to stop in. Never, you know, chainmail, medieval armor type thing wasn't our liking, but when they got in there and seen what I was actually doing, they're like, this I just wasn't expecting. So a lot of people do get a little surprised once they actually see what else you can do with chainmail other than making armor out of it. Especially some of the crazy things I do with, like, my lampshades and the inlays, just seeing how you can make pictures out of it. And I think people are always more impressed once they realize that there's more to it than just basic armor. Because you don't really think about it too much. You know, they Renaissance time, they had, you know, medieval times, they had armor and it was all chainmail, but things have definitely advanced since we don't need to use chainmail for armor anymore. People have come up with other ideas. We'll just kind of, you know, stand up after this row and stretch the legs and might let her back out just so she has quieted down right now. Doesn't mean she'll stay that way. Grab me a drink before we only got about a half an hour left, looks like, so we're getting close near the end here. I don't know if Sean over at Mailworks is going to have a stream tonight or not, and I need to go check out Joshua's from Bracken Mail. I haven't actually seen him do a stream in a while. At least I haven't gotten a notification for it in a while. I've been so busy. Normally when I hear his notification and just go get it started and continue doing what I was doing while I'm kind of listening to him and chat on occasion when I take quick breaks. But I haven't seen a stream from him in a little while, and I know Sean's had some things going on, so he's been kind of streamless for a little bit. Hopefully he'll get his going back on. And if you dig chainmail and you haven't checked out Mailworks, go over and check it out. He's on Facebook, got a website. He's got really cool 3D printed stuff for shoes and leggings and shirts and hats and puzzles, and he's got some really cool stuff. I think he just added light switch plates, you know, plates that go over your outlet plates or whatever you want to call those. He just added some of those. Finally got me a shirt from him. I've been wanting to get it for over a year. Should have got a few other things, and I probably still will, but just go check out his stuff. It's really cool if you like the look of it. And it's not like these are just printed on a square area of the shirt. The whole shirt is like the fabric is printed that way. So go over there to Mailworks, check his stuff out. Really cool. Bracken Mail. Jennifer Martinez over at Steampunk Garage. She's a chain mailer. She works a lot more in stainless only and titanium. She's got some really cool things there too. She does a few streams from time to time, but just, you know, as she's working. Okay, 7. We got 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, there's quite a few good places out there that there's a lot of good mailers out there that I'm friends with through Facebook is where you kind of meet some of them. There's some other websites that are dedicated to chain mail, and I've met people through there and then attached on Facebook to them too. So if you're into building chain mail, want to learn chain mail, there's plenty of places to check out. Or like I said before, just ask questions. I'm more than willing to help answer anything I can. Want to promote other chain mailers because, you know, as Sean says, how does he say it? He wants to chain mail the world. Kind of a neat little saying. I don't want to use his saying, but, you know, I'll say it is his saying. But yeah, I'd like to see people realize that chain mail's not just, you know, armor. There's plenty of other things you can do with it. Now you can still use it for combating, you know, if you're into role playing and doing the Renaissance Festival stuffs and whatnot, you know. There's costume grade armor, then there's actual armor. I want to do some real armor myself out of some riveted mail. John has just been kind of getting into that too. Something I want to do. It's definitely a much longer process than just doing like bracelets and necklaces and whatnot. A lot more forging per se into it, so eventually I'd like to do that too. Just because they've taken that riveted style stuff and turned it into bracelets and necklaces and stuff, and they look really cool. There's a few others out there that have been nails and use stainless steel nails and build braces on nails with bent nails and stuff, and it looks just really cool stuff out there. Ooh, we got 5, 3, 4, 5. I did forget to go let you out, didn't I, babe? Let me do my frost and I'll go let you out real quick. I do need to stand up though. I'll say this new pad that I got for the chair is definitely helping my buttocks. I feel a lot more comfortable sitting here for a little bit longer periods. Because again, I'm still not, you know, when I'm not doing a stream, I normally will do a lot of standing mail. I'll stand here at the desk and table here and work standing. So I kind of, normally about half and half, you know, I'll sit for 10-20, stand for 10-20. Go do some housework or whatnot for 10-20 and come back to kind of rotate and continue. And same thing next half an hour, next hour. Kind of just do that every day for the most part. Alright, we're going to go let the cat out real quick, so I will be back in just a second. Might hear me talking. I guess this mic picks me up pretty good across the room here. At least that's what I've been told. Because there I did a stream from kind of... Yeah, I'm not digging that ring. It's not quite cut quite right. It's not bad, and it was probably usable, but I just didn't care for it. I didn't like the feel. Part of it would look closed, the other half didn't look closed, so it was like, no. I'll just pull it out. Alrighty, let me go let the cat out real quick, stretch the legs. Oh, you ready, babe? And right there waiting. Alright, she has been released. And then in 5 minutes she'll want back in. There's some Mimi asked Mimi. If you ever catch me saying Mimi, just know that's how I say memes. To me, it's memes. Drives kids nuts, so I think that's why I just say it more like that. Become a habit. But anyway, there's one out there, a dog, standing at the door. Let me out, let me in, let me out, let me in. That's how the cats are too. Beg and beg and beg to go out. 5 minutes later, they begging to come back in. Alright, so this will be the end of row 15. How many do I need? Oh, I can just end out on things. It doesn't matter how many I have. Since we're at the end of a row. Kind of one of the nicer things when you don't have to count out all those back and forth rings when you're only doing a 2 or a 3 colored inlay. Definitely not a lot nicer. I guess you really can't do a 1 colored inlay because then it's just basically a colored sheet. And I mean the checkerboard that I'll be working on, chessboard, it is an inlay. There are a couple different colors in it, yes, but it is more just shapes in it. But it's still considered an inlay. Because if you don't do it right, it's not going to look like a checkerboard or a chessboard. I used to call the first one I made, I kept calling my checkerboard a chessboard, even though it was made for checkers. And then I've made the other one, I've got a Batman version that I made for checkers. Now I'm so used to calling them checkerboards, I forget that this next one's going to be a chessboard. Because I've got some solid metal, somewhat heavy weighted chess pieces that I've been wanting to make a board for the longest time now. I've had these things for probably 2.5 years. And it's like, I'm going to make one, I want to make my pieces though. I do want to make my own chainmail pieces for chess, but I know that's just going to take so much longer. I'm just ready to make the chessboard. And plus, who knows, there have been times even with the checkerboards at an event, somebody come along, hey man, let's play a game. Had one guy who's like, you win, I pay you this, I win, I pay you that. Anyway, it was minor amount difference, so, we had fun playing, so that was all good. So, it's getting there. Like I said, it's not going to be super wide once it gets its full stretch going. I haven't even looked. Yeah, that screen's not too bad. A little more bled out. I might try to do some changing within the settings maybe and try to clean it up a little bit. That might help. So we got 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 4. Well, it doesn't look too bad. I don't know how close I can actually get it to anything, and it'll still look decent enough. Might take me a second before I'm going to see it on the thing. Definitely, I wouldn't say frame droppage, but there is definitely some. Can't get too close or it blurs out. So, not as good as my other cameras, obviously, but I didn't expect it to be. But we'll see how once I get it up on the wall, it's not too bad. The other ones I can definitely zoom in a lot more and not lose detail and get blurry. If I could use my Canon, it'd be even better, but I hate using the side way of having to use it to get it to come up through the program and be able to stream with it. So that's the only reason I haven't used it, just because it's kind of a headache. I can just plug up my little Sony camcorders here and HDMI them out into the computer, and poof, there they are. I did find out I can't put 2 of the same cameras through the same USB port. Gotta make sure I'm using a separate section. Like, if you got 2 on the back of the computer side by side, I can't use one in each of those. I have to make sure I'm on one above it, or use the top one, or a side extension or something. They just don't like to be on the same part of a board, I guess. They don't like to get along, and that's probably just because of the same type of camera and same converter. If there were different converters, maybe that would work. I'm not sure, but I got it to work this way, and so I've been pretty happy with it. Ooh, I've seen some yellow there. Did I lose some? It's not saying I lost anything, just my speed, my upload speed went to crap for a second. I don't know if it's been doing that all night or not. My stats are again different, so I can't quite tell. It says I've only lost 0.1%. But normally I'll jump up a lot higher than that, even when I see a yellow in the other section. So I'm not digging the new stats within the new OBS software. It might have been fine too. Maybe it was just, you know, I just happened to catch it at the perfect time and it was real quick and not noticeable, but I wasn't expecting on seeing a little yellow box when I looked over there. I hadn't seen that in a while. Like I said, if you're watching this later, watch it now. I don't think I have any viewers right now. I'm not totally sure. Like I said, sometimes my things don't show proper numbers, and other places seem to always have somebody, but nobody talks, so I'm not sure if that's actually somebody or just the way the system works. So, but anyway, I want to thank everybody again if you've stopped in. If you're watching us from YouTube or Twitch, head over to Facebook and look up the Booga box there and give us a like on Facebook, or vice versa. If you're on Facebook, and go over to Twitch and give us a like, subscribe to there on YouTube. The more we get, the better, right? But I want to do some giveaways once we hit 300 likes on Facebook. Like I said, I've done some giveaways before, but I'd like to start getting back into doing some monthly giveaways again. I always have fun doing those. I used to play games with it and do pictures, but I'd like to play with it and do them during a live stream. I think it would be fun. I've gotten a few ideas on my head on how we could pick people and whatnot that would show up. It'll be something to play with. So, like us, share us, get some friends to come give us a like, even if they don't follow us all the time. You don't have to follow us every day. You don't have to follow every post we make, but, you know, occasionally you might see pop up and go, hey, let me go check it out again. See what's going on, what's new. And always check out our Facebook page and check out the pictures, because they're always, you know, got all kinds of pictures over there. And not everything on Facebook has made it over to our website for selling purposes, but, you know, you contact me through Facebook or through the website or wherever. I'll work with you. I'm a lot of things we have that just aren't over there that I have in stock ready to go, and other times you want certain colors. Basically anything we have, I'm willing to make in any materials to satisfy your need. That is my job. Plus I like creating, so, you know. And I've created some things that, you know, people thought that's what they would like to see, and then, I guess, what do they call it now, ghosting, you know, where they just kind of disappear, which is all good too, you know. I might not have made it for them, but who knows, sometimes it gives me inspirational thoughts for something else. Never know what will come of nothing. Alrighty, that one's row 16, right? Yep, 4, so, and then we're on to 8, 2, 4, 6, 2 more. 1, 2, and 4. 2, 3, 4. I hear somebody upstairs yelling. I don't know if they're yelling at me or not. They know I'm streaming. They could be yelling at me through the stream. They like to do that sometimes. They'll watch it and start yelling at me from up there about it. There's always a little bit of a delay, so if I hear screams and yelling here in about 20 seconds, then I know they're watching. Otherwise, it was just random yelling. I was kind of, after we'd streamed last night, I guess, wife couldn't watch it live on YouTube, so she ended up watching it after the stream was done. I'm upstairs feeding the cat so he can get a shot. And all of a sudden I hear him meowing, but from the kitchen, and I look down, he's right by my feet eating. How's he in the living room? Then I realized she was watching the stream, and you could hear him meowing through the stream. Confused me for a few seconds. But let's see. It just seemed to be a little yellow box pop up on me. But we got about, we'll get about 10 more minutes of weaving here before we start closing up for the night. Get us to our hour and a half, up till almost 9 or 9. There have been a few that gone past 9 because I lost track of time, or I get to a point where it's like I want to finish this up, so give me a few more minutes. Come on, let's do it. I didn't hear any more yelling up there, so they must not have been yelling at me or the stream tonight. Hey John, I see you. Doesn't confuse the cat hearing himself. He didn't hear it, which was kind of a surprise, but I think he was just so hungry and he was ready to eat. You know, I just put the food bowl down, he was just scarfing, so. And if you get too close to him or when he's eating, he's a loud eater. The soft food, boy, he just lip smacking good, I guess, because he'll just be all making all kinds of racket when he's eating. So he might not have been able to hear over himself eating. Hope you're having a good night there, John. We're just working on another little inlay of a treble clef. Nothing real major, something that normally only takes about 4 hours to do these little smaller ones, so figured I was going to do a couple so I'd have them to hang up at the next event. A few little things, a few bigger things. But yeah, he didn't hear it, but I sure did. And that's where I was confused. It's like, you're right here, how are you in the living room? But we do have one other cat, my son's cat. She is like the super copycat. She has figured out how to meow like the other cats. She has her own meow. But if she wants to fake you out, she'll meow like the other ones, and you'll think it's the other cat. Certain ways that the other cats claw or meow to get into the room, she's figured out how to mimic them. Drives me nuts, because she catches me off guard at least once a week, where I think she's a different cat. But no, she was over there mimicking. Got some black and 14G to trim my 12G with from the D-Stash group. Cool. Yeah, I caught a few of those things. I need to figure out how I can get more I guess notifications of when they post over there, because by the time I find anything in D-Stash it's like, hey, I could use that, you know, everybody else has already bought everything up. It's like, well, yeah, I was too late on that, you know. Seems like if you wait more than 2 hours on a D-Stash anywhere, yeah, it's gone. Like that rolling mill that you got. Time I seen them, you know, everybody had already started claiming. I was like, ah, there's no point in trying to get into that. Somebody's already got it. Yeah, what row is this? This is row 17. So, yeah. We'll easily get done, probably just under 3 hours by the time I add the holder and everything. We'll probably just be a little over 4 hours. If everything stays on pace. Yeah, I guess I mean, but it's for any D-Stash, really, for that matter. It's like, I've gotten into a group of D-Stash for stainless steel tumblers that I can put through the laser. I do the tumblers that I laser etch, and yeah, those disappear before I can even think about being there for them. Everything, if it's D-Stash and nice prices, they disappear quickly, very quickly. So 7, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. We had 7 out already. Sweet. 3. Yeah, because I would have jumped on that mill if I would have been early enough. Because, like I said, I've been wanting one for a while. Didn't know exactly what I want to do with it, but I have some ideas, and then just to have one, because sometimes you just never know. Sometimes you'll figure out something else later on where it's like, well, if I had that mill, that would be great to have right now. I'd like to get a drawing plate and do that too, but I definitely need my garage set up for that. This is row 18. I remember where I'm at here. Well, we got quite a bit done actually in this little stream tonight. It's kind of weird seeing so much of it come together compared to when I was doing the Mahomes inlay. Since it took so long just to get 2 rows done in that, and then 2 rows you don't really see much happen. It was kind of nice doing this small one for right now. Yeah, I was talking earlier, I don't know if you were here or not, but I was wanting to get into doing my chessboard, and I have a 5-pound roll in there. I thought for at least this last year, I thought for sure it was bronze. It wasn't until I got into it earlier, a couple days ago, that I realized it's brass, not bronze. Well, I guess it would have been about 14 days ago. Boy, didn't seem like it was that long ago, but it has been. Because that's what I'm waiting on from TRL right now, is my bronze wire, since I don't have any. And I still haven't got a reply email back yet on that, so I'm kind of sticking here. I was like, I could go ahead and use the brass, but, the pieces that I've got are bronze, and it's like I want them to kind of match up closer, They all kind of weather a little bit differently in the bronze and the brass. It's like I want it to kind of match the pieces. I figure I'm probably going to try to give it a little antiquing to it to try to make them match up a little better. But we'll kind of see once I get into it. But I need to coil it, get them cut. I guess I could go ahead and just start working on the silver that I'm going to need for it, but kind of want to do all my coiling and cutting at the same time. To make it easier that way, but who knows. Be something I'll be working on this weekend too, deciding. I might go ahead and do some more. I do have I got another 2 pounds of different sizes of silver bright aluminum I need to get cut. Got them coiled, just need to get them cut. Got all the welding done last night on the keychain done. It was way quicker than I thought it was going to be. It's all sitting in the tumbler right now, getting cleaned up. I do probably need to change my water. What time is it? I'm coming up on 9, so yeah, probably need to get it out, change my water, put it back in for another round. Yeah, getting closer near using up the rest of that TRL stainless. I haven't used it in such a long time. It's like, yeah, I just need to use it up, get it out of the way so I can put my stash of stuff in there now. Let's see, where are we at here? 22. Probably do one more row and then we'll call it done for the night. We'll finish this one up and do one more. At least work on it for the stream. We'll call it quits. Like I said, I'll probably get another hour in before the night's done, if not more tonight, and finish it up tomorrow and get the other one work on. We'll finish it up next week on the stream, unless I somehow can get my other material in. TRL, pull your heads out, please. And I normally takes 2 days to get back a reply when they're out of something, but I'm running on 2 days now, and I'm not going to get it today, so it's early. It's going to be tomorrow, which means I doubt my order will go out before Monday. And shipping, even though they say 2 to 3 days, it's always 4 to 5 days. Always. Alright, get 9. Need to find someplace else I can get a good price on some brass bronze. So that's normally where I've gotten all my brass, and no, I guess it's brass that I have that one roll of. I've used up another roll, but I bought it somewhere else. It wasn't even a ring supplier that I got it through. I mean, my stainless and stuff, I don't get that through them either, so. But I figure I need some other things, I just throw that on there, but yeah. And I'm looking at 3 different places right now to get me some silver. I want to get some fine silver, and then I want to get some of the yeah, that word that I can never say right. Argumentium. Yeah. You told me it once before, and I still forget. I'll mispronounce it the rest of my life, probably the same way I do memes. You know, there's people that always have this thing. I got some people that will say, you know, Pacific for specific. And that's the way they've always said it. That'll be mine with Mimi. They'll be like, what are you talking about? You know, those Mimi things. So, I guess the youngest sitting up there watching her should be yelling down, Mimi's, it's not Mimi's. She always yells at me every time I call it a Mimi. I'll be like, hey, did you see that Mimi? No, I seen a meme. Argentium. Yeah, there you go. I think you spelled it the same way for me last time. I don't know, I see it, my brain just kind of looks at the word and just kind of flips letters around, and I don't know why, it just does. Every time I see it. Argentium. That was about the same thing like Q, or a cache. I always call a cache a Q and a Q a cache. I don't know why I do that either. 4. It welds so nice. Yeah, that's what I'm wanting to see. I mean, the fine silver does okay. I mean, it welds up good. I've only had one break on me, and it was one that I was actually concerned about, the weld. I was like, yeah, all the others came out good, but I had this one ring, and I was like, man, what am I going to do? And so I just left it like that. Wife eventually did break that weld, and I had to go back in and fix it, which I should have just done then, but I just wasn't sure. That was actually the first time I'd done fine silver welding, because it's definitely a little picky. Sterling, I've done sterling too, and it's a little easier, but sterling just dulls up so quickly. You gotta clean that crap every week, it seems like. Fine silver, you still have to clean it, but it's the fine silver stuff that I made for the wife seems like it needed less cleaning less often than the sterling, so it's like I want to try some of the Argentium, yeah, there we go, Argentium. Pound it into the brain. You clean, pickle your rings before welding? Oh yeah. When it comes to the silver anyway, I mean, I don't do anything special for stainless steel or titanium or anything. I do the basic cleanings and nothing major, but I like to clean up the silver. Seems like it likes to be cleaned up a little more, at least for me. Now maybe that's why I had a harder problem with the fine silver, but I do want to actually try to start doing soldering of my fine silver. I think it will look better overall. Take a little longer to do. I have the bricks. I've got my not propane, but my little fire stick. I forget what gas it uses right off the bat. I remember watching a lot of YouTube videos on how to solder up fine silver, because you don't get the scaling with the fine silver that you do with sterling and whatnot. So eventually that's what I'd like to do. A 90% alcohol stainless and pickle your silver, or it has issues. Yeah, Don't, like I said, I don't really do too much with the stainless. I'll put it through the cleaner. I haven't really ever used any alcohol. Never really had any problems. The only time I ever had problems welding my stainless is when I don't get a good closure. If I get a lot of shooting off of it, well, I guess should rephrase that. With the TRL stuff, there's always some extra flash or whatever you want to call it from their cutting process, and if I don't clean that off and I go to zap it, that stuff will go flying on me. And if it's not a good closure, I'll get a little extra flying. But normally I just clean them up, dry them off, fold them up, close them, and weld, and normally don't have an issue. So alrighty, well, that's where we're at in that. Like I said, this is not quite halfway. Need another 98 or 48, so I need to get to 24, so we're closing in on halfway to it, but should be coming up. Yeah, it's 9 o'clock now, right? Yeah. So like I said, I'll finish this up tonight and tomorrow. Get started another one that we can finish up during next week's stream. It'll be a different color set up, and we'll have 2 of them total. So, but thanks again for everybody that's dropped in and seen what's going on. We'll be back, I guess it will be Monday. I don't plan on doing any this weekend. Who knows, we could pop up, but who knows. If not, for sure we'll be back next Monday for medium project night. Get back into doing the bow tie, getting that going. So thanks again for everybody that's dropped in, checked us out. Don't forget to like and share. Still trying to get those 300 likes on Facebook so we can do some giveaways. And you all have a great night. Thanks for dropping in, John. And I think I had Vicky over there on Twitch there for a little bit, so I don't think she's still there yet right now. But again, thanks for everybody that's dropped in, and you all have a great night. I'll see you Monday.